Sviatoslav, how are you?
Still alive and in one piece, so can't complain.
You are now in the front line in eastern Ukraine. What's the situation like near you at this moment?
It's not easy. There are losses and there are fighting happening every single day, and every couple of days as we rotate from the front line. Basically, it's almost never easy news to get, and there's almost always different changes to adjust to. But Ukraine is holding, and we must hold with it as well.
Yeah, you're now in the base, which is not very far from the front line. When in the trenches, what do you do?
I'm a machine gunner, so I'm part of the machine gunner squad, and basically handling machine guns and trying to deal damage to the advancing Russians is the basic task there.
And how many days in a row do you stay in the trenches?
Well, it depends. Couple of days usually. Most stable point is 3 days in, 3 days out. Basically, that's the way it usually goes. And that's the way it rotates usually. But previous years, in my previous assignments, it was different. At the moment, it's that system.
Okay. The Russian troops, Sviatoslav, are gaining ground at this moment. How's morale among your fellow soldiers in these trenches?
I'm part of the battle-hardened Aidar battalion, which has been formed in the fighting in 2014. It's celebrating these days its 10th anniversary. So these are people who are very much part of the fight for our right to independent sovereignty, and are committed to that fight. And therefore, these fellow soldiers of mine are in it to win it, and they are keeping with the fight no matter what. But I've met different soldiers with different states and different realities, and my previous units were also in different situations. So it's very hard to try and generalize, but I'm blessed right now being with people who are battle-hardened through the last 10 years.
Yeah, I see. And what's it like for you personally? I mean, you sound very convinced, but how hard is it for you personally to endure this?
Well, the reality, I was in the Parliament Parliament was meeting in the week of the invasion, and I was in Kiev, and that's where the invasion got me, and basically I made a choice right away that I will do everything possible to try and help my country's plight against the Russian onslaught. And then somebody very dear and near to me was killed around Kiev in the first weeks of the war, and I couldn't help but mobilize to join the fighting directly, and to learn all the skills that I didn't have before and become a soldier.
Yeah, so now you're fighting for your country, for liberty.
Yes, we are fighting very simply for the right of Ukrainians to decide what the future of Ukraine should be. I think that is, at the very least, a people should decide in this century.
There are also Ukrainian men who flee to Europe. Can you understand them?
Well, everything they held dear and near is now facing enormous peril. And for them not to stand up to this challenge is something that they will have to negotiate with their own conscience. It's an uneasy struggle for them in that sense, but it's not an easy struggle for us, fighting day in, day out for everything that gave those men the life they had. And for me, it's an utter disgrace to give up on your nation in the moment of such enormous peril that we are facing. But again, it's up to their conscience. And again, history tells me very clearly that people can change their minds, and some of those that fled may come back to join the fight. And so I'm not as eager to try and try and blame them. I hope that they will change their mind and join their country in this battle of our time.
Yes, Sviatoslav, some people in the West are now suggesting that negotiations should start with the Russians to end the war. How do you feel about that suggestion?
For the last, out of the last almost over 10 years now of fighting with Russia, we've been negotiating with Russians of the 8 of them, and the Russians have, out of that negotiation, delivered full-scale invasion in which countless of my nation have been killed, and countless are being killed every single day. So we feel that no piece of paper that Russia signs is worth the paper it's signed on, because they've shown this time and time again, breaking the promises, destroying the negotiations, and again answering for the 8 years of our negotiations with a full-scale invasion, trying to destroy our nation.
Now you're fighting, Sviatoslav, for your country as a front soldier. At the same time, you're a member of parliament. In fact, you're the youngest parliamentarian ever in Ukraine. Aren't you at an extra high risk?
That may be so, but in this time, every single Ukrainian, no matter where they are in our country, should be a part of this battle. Again, I joined battle units because somebody very dear and near to me was killed in the beginning of the war, and I didn't have a right to pretend that I shouldn't be a part of this because I'm doing this or that or the other. This is a battle for every Ukrainian. Because the Russians are making it so. The Russians are very clearly pointing to all the Ukrainians that they are here to destroy our nation, take our nation away from us. And if we wish to have our nation, we need to fight for it. And that's what we are doing, no matter whether you're a member of parliament or an ordinary citizen.
Yeah, you may know that today is Liberation Day in the Netherlands with regard to World War II. What would you say to the Dutch audience about liberty?
I would say there's always hope. Hitler had very similar ideas about the Dutch nation, Netherlands in general, about it being part of the Germanic delusion that he had. And you fought on in different ways throughout the time of occupation, and then again being liberated and helping that liberation, battling against the Nazi delusions, shows to Ukraine that no matter what Putin is trying to present, if we fight back, we will win, because there's always hope, no matter how strong and how monstrous your enemy is.
Okay, thank you so much, Sviatoslav Yurash. All the best to you. I hope you stay safe. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All the best to you on the Liberation Day.
Bedankt voor het kijken. En vond je dit een goed gesprek? Vergeet je dan niet te abonneren. Een like of een comment achterlaten kan natuurlijk ook. Oh ja, had je dit al gehoord?
Als alles op rolletjes loopt, is het prima als iedereen zijn eigen gang gaat. Ja. Maar in een crisistijd moeten we samenwerken en moeten we oog hebben voor het collectieve belang.
Ja, als de trein vol met fietsers staat. Ja.